Hello, Holistic Heroes. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to this week's episode of the Holistic Living for Body, Mind, and Spirit podcast, courtesy of Violet Spring. In today's episode, we will be exploring mindfulness and how to transform your life one breath at a time.
You know, it's funny, right? Mindfulness. It's like suddenly it's everywhere you turn.
Oh, tell me about it. It's like schools, workplaces, even like you open a magazine, there's an ad for mindfulness.
Seriously. It's like mindfulness itself became this, I don't know, buzzword. And that actually made me kind of skeptical at first.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, what does that even mean to be mindful in like real life? You know, not just on a yoga mat. And that's what I find so interesting about this deep dive. You sent us this blog post, right, by Violet Spring.
Right.
She's a holistic life coach.
Yeah.
And she gets into like the actual how-to of mindfulness in a way that kind of clicked for me.
What I found interesting about Violet's approach is that it's very grounded. She doesn't get lost in the esoteric stuff, but really focuses on the practical application of mindfulness.
Yes, exactly. She starts by defining it, right? Mindfulness is focusing your attention on the present moment, accepting it without judgment. Sounds simple.
Right. Sounds simple.
But then she gives these examples of what it's not, and oh boy, did I see myself in some of those.
Oh yeah, like what?
Okay, like ever inhale a whole meal while scrolling through like Instagram, and then you're like, wait, what did I even just eat?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged.
Or spacing out on your commute and suddenly, boom, you're at work and it's like you teleported.
It's like driving on autopilot. You're physically there, but your mind is miles away.
Exactly. So we've all been there, right? But it's like, that's the opposite of mindfulness, when you're just not present.
Yeah, and it highlights how much our minds are usually caught up in thoughts, worries, plans. It's like this constant chatter.
Okay, so mindfulness is about being like more intentional with our attention, but why does that even matter? Like, what's the big deal with being present?
Well, Violet lays out a pretty compelling case. She lists all these benefits, some of which might surprise you. Stress reduction is the obvious one, of course.
Right, that's what everyone thinks of first.
And for good reason. When you're mindful, when you focus on your breath, for instance, you're actually stimulating your vagus nerve.
Your vagus nerve.
Yeah, it's this long nerve that runs from your brainstem down to your abdomen. And it plays a key role in regulating your nervous system.
Okay, so how does that tie into mindfulness?
Well, stimulating the vagus nerve helps trigger what's called the relaxation response. It's like a physiological antidote to stress.
So there's actually a real biological basis for how mindfulness impacts our stress levels.
Absolutely. It's not just some woo-woo concept, it's science.
That's so cool. I've definitely noticed that even taking a few deep breaths before, like diving into work, helps me feel calmer, more focused.
There you go. You're already tapping into it.
And speaking of focus, Violet also talks about how mindfulness can improve concentration, which, let's be real, in our world of constant distractions is like a superpower.
Right. It's huge. Like imagine being able to actually stay present and focused, even with like a million tabs open in your brain and your phone buzzing nonstop.
Oh, tell me about it. I feel seen. It's like essential life skill, right? For everything. Work, relationships.
Totally. And you know what else Violet talks about? Emotional regulation. That mindfulness can help with that.
Okay, yeah. That feels like a big one. Especially, I don't know, these days, everyone seems a bit on edge. More than usual.
Right. And that's where self-awareness comes in, which is something mindfulness really cultivates. It's like instead of just getting swept away by like anger or stress or whatever, you start to notice those emotions as they're bubbling up.
Okay, I think I get that. But how does that work in real life? Like if I'm already freaking out about a deadline, mindfulness is going to make the stress magically disappear.
Not disappear, no.
Yeah.
But mindfulness can help you kind of manage it differently.
Yeah.
So instead of being totally hijacked by that like fight or flight response, you notice the sensations in your body. Like, oh, my heart's racing, my shoulders are tense. You're bringing awareness to it without judgment.
So not pretending the stress isn't there, but like not letting it totally control you either.
Exactly. Gives you a little space, right? Between the feeling and your reaction. And that space, even if it's just a microsecond, can make a huge difference.
Oh, okay, I see that. So mindfulness, self-awareness, emotional regulation, it's all kind of connected. But I have to admit, trying to actually like do mindfulness, fit it into my life, still feels a little daunting.
Right, like where do you even begin?
Yeah, Violet mentions all these different techniques. Do I have to like become a meditation master to get any benefit?
Not at all. That's the beauty of it. Mindfulness is for everyone. You don't need any fancy equipment or like hours of free time.
So what, like 5 minutes here and there? Is that enough?
Even that can make a difference. It's about those little moments, finding those pockets of presence throughout your day.
Okay, so like give me some examples. What are some, I don't know, easy ways people can start without having to totally overhaul their lives?
Well, a really simple one that Violet talks about is mindful breathing. Basically, you just take a few moments to really tune into your breath. Like, notice the rise and fall of your chest, how the air feels going in and out. It's incredibly grounding.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. Seems pretty doable.
Right. And you can do it anywhere, literally, at your desk, waiting for the bus, even in the middle of a stressful meeting.
Okay, so no excuses. You don't need a yoga mat and a Zen garden.
Exactly. Another one Violet mentions is mindful walking. Instead of like rushing to get from point A to point B, you slow down, you feel your feet on the ground, maybe the breeze on your skin.
Yeah, I actually tried that once, and it's weird. You really do start to notice so much more around you. Like, I actually felt more, I don't know, alive, present. It was cool.
Exactly. And it brings us to a really key point about mindfulness. It's not about like adding more things to your to-do list, more obligations. It's about bringing this different quality of attention to things you're already doing.
Like turning everyday moments into mindful moments.
Exactly. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about those times when your mind just won't quit? You sit down to like be mindful and your brain's got other plans.
Oh, 100%. It happens all the time.
And Violet talks about this. She says, look, it's totally normal for our minds to wander. Like, that's what minds do. The key is you just notice those thoughts without judging yourself and gently guide your attention back.
Back to like your breath or whatever you're focusing on.
Exactly. It's not about like silencing your thoughts completely, but kind of like changing your relationship to them.
Not getting so caught up in them.
Right. So next time you're trying to be mindful and your mind wanders off, don't get discouraged. Just gently bring it back. Each time you do that, you're actually strengthening that mindfulness muscle.
It's like every time the mind wanders, it's a bicep curl for your brain. Okay, I like that. So mindfulness, it's about progress, not perfection.
100%. And as you keep practicing, you might be surprised by like the ripple effects in other areas of your life. Violet focuses on the individual benefits, which are great, but it makes you wonder, what if we like scaled this up? What if mindfulness wasn't just a personal thing, but something we cultivated more broadly as a society?
Whoa. Okay, now you're getting really big picture. So like, what would that even look like?
Right. Imagine like schools incorporating mindfulness practices or like workplaces where it's totally normal to take a mindfulness break.
What if our like political leaders practiced mindfulness?
Exactly. Can you imagine the potential?
Yeah.
More mindful communication, more thoughtful decisions, more compassion in general.
It's like Violet's blog post kind of opened this door to thinking about mindfulness not just as like me time, but as something much bigger.
Totally. And it reminds us that even these small acts of mindfulness, they ripple outwards. They impact not just us, but the people around us, our communities, maybe even the world.
So, to wrap things up, mindfulness, it's not about being perfect, it's about being present. It's about those little moments of awareness we can find in our day. Noticing our thoughts and feelings without judgment, and gently guiding our attention back when it wanders.
Beautifully put.
And who knows, maybe by cultivating mindfulness in our own lives, we actually can contribute to a more mindful, compassionate, and connected world. For everyone listening, definitely check out Violet Spring's full blog post. We'll link it in the show notes. It's full of great insights and practical tips. And hey, maybe this is just the beginning of our mindfulness journey here on The Deep Dive. We could do a follow-up with different techniques, maybe dive into the science behind it all. Let us know if you'd be into that. Until next time, be present, be curious, and keep diving deep.
Hey everyone, I want to take a moment to let you know about a very special offer. Holistic Living focuses on nurturing the body, mind, and spirit to become your best self using available tools. Simple actions, like being mindful of what you eat and how it affects you, can make a difference. Did you know eating the right foods in the right sequence and colors can lead to a satisfying transformation from the inside out? Being mindful in our eating habits doesn't have to be a restrictive diet. Instead, it can be a wonderful, full-body healing and energizing journey of epic positivity for your body, mind, and spirit. That's why I'm excited to share the Encyclopedia of Power Foods with you. It's filled with insights, recipes, and tips for using food to enhance your health. Click the link in the description to purchase your copy today. Your body, mind, and spirit will appreciate this investment in holistic health. Being your own holistic hero is easy. Just like and subscribe to join the journey. Thanks for watching.